every inch, every point matters.
What a move!
When there's a series prize pool of $12.8 million. Welcome to the Port of LA and the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything. Give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
As Season 5 of SailGP turns from the Southern Hemisphere with events in Auckland and Sydney to the northern half of the globe, the bright lights of Hollywood welcome the world's best sailors and the 12 national teams to Southern California as the Port of LA plays host to the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. After an exciting opening day one in the Pacific, lessons have been learned and the fleet returns to decide who will claim the top 3 positions and the event final. And with a sold-out crowd witnessing all the action, the pressure will be on each team to limit mistakes and maneuvers in changing conditions in order to get maximum points. Alongside former Emirates GBR athlete Hannah Diamond and Olympian Stevie Morrison, I'm Todd Harris. Well, the U.S. West Coast doubleheader continues in less than 7 days as once a champion is crowned in L.A., the scramble is on to head north up Highway 1 to San Francisco next weekend. Then it's a first for the league as SailGP ventures to South America and Rio de Janeiro. The final stop on the U.S. Grand Slam is the Big Apple in New York City. Then the spotlight is all about Europe and stops in the UK, Germany, Saint-Tropez, and Cadiz before the grand final in November in Abu Dhabi. Before we go racing, let's recap the action from yesterday's day 1 of action.
3 events down in the SailGP Championship and the form teams are starting to separate from the rest in the overall standings. Dylan Fletcher has been by far the best SailGP signing in Season 5. They've made every final and put on an impressive tactical display in Sydney.
And the Emirates winning moment goes to Emirates GBR. They take the win in Sydney.
Tom Slingsby's Australia will come back fighting here in LA after Canada managed to land a race-defining Prix penalty on the flying rules.
Penalty Australia, relative Canada, windward boat not keeping clear.
France re-entered the league with a bang. They were contending for the lead from the get-go in Sydney.
Les Bleus, they're back, Todd, they're back, and what a start from De La Pierre, come out red hot there.
There were notable performances from Switzerland too, who now sit firmly mid-table, well away from where they ended Season 4. Penalty points in Sydney had a huge impact on the season's standings. The United States SailGP team's capsize not only stopped them from competing in Sydney, they have 8 season points against their tally. For Germany, in addition to damaging their wing in transit, they had a slight clash with Red Bull Italy, and the most damage was with Mubadala Brazil to give them 12 season penalty points. That will no doubt have a huge impact on their season.
Absolutely kidding me.
For Mubadala Brazil, the umpires determined that they too should have avoided a collision, and they will see 4 points deducted from their overall score. Across Auckland and Sydney, it's clear that only a few teams are capable of being consistent in the stronger breeze. The only surprise was Canada. They turned their fortunes around from an almost rock-bottom finish in Auckland to not only make the final in Sydney, but to contend for the event victory.
150-metre lead over Great Britain. What a Season 5 moment for them this could be.
And let's not forget Spain, who are still joint third overall with New Zealand. Their 7th place in Sydney will give them motivation to remind the fleet who is the reigning Rolex SailGP champion.
So 4 fleet races contested on day 1, and the standings are as follows. The Kiwis own the top spot on 31 points, followed by North Star Canada on 28, and the Aussies sitting third, 1 point back. France are 4th, and then the defending season and event champions, Spain, in a tie with Emirates GBR. The U.S. SailGP team still in a good spot currently with 20 points.
The Port of Los Angeles once again provides the racetrack. We saw there was more than one way to solve the problem of the start yesterday, but being fast at the gun's key if you want to lead at Mark 1. At each of the gates, they can turn left or right. From here, the course opens out and the boats try to find the shortest time between gates. Remember, the sailing boats go fast when they sail at an angle to the wind. So the teams in the pack will be trying to find clear wind with some space if they want to make overtakes. It's a short course, lighter breeze out there today, so staying on the foils won't be easy. It's going to be a tough day for the wing trimmers and the flight controllers if they want to finish first under the fans on the shoreline.
All right, thank you, Stevie. There you see the 11 boats taking part. Why is Denmark not there? Well, if you're not with us yesterday, you saw history being made. 12 teams out on the water, even if it was a short time. Denmark having a collision with a course marker in race number 1. For more on the conditions today, we check in with the 4th member of our broadcast team. Here's Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin.
Todd, it is a little bit different out here today. It's a similar direction, a little bit more left in the breeze, but a lot lighter, around 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. Configuration, we've got that all-purpose 24-meter wing. We still have the high-speed T-foils in, but they do have the light air rudders for some extra lift, and that J1 big sail at the front for the most power. Also, to account for the 4 people on board, for the light wind, they've got 4 people on board, so it's going to be tough for the sailors out here today.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa. Hannah Diamond, this is a different configuration. 12 is now 11, and just 4 people on board. What's that like, and how does that change going from 4 as used to having 6?
Well, the biggest change on board is that the strategist generally goes forwards and becomes the power, the grinder at the front of the boat. So very different configuration, and they'll have to get the hang of that really, really quickly today.
All right, coming up on 1 minute to go before the start of race number 5. 3 races scheduled for today. And the 11 teams now in the start box. We've got 11 teams. Denmark unable to go as they did damage to their T-foil yesterday, Stevie, on race number 1. And so 12 is now 11. And we are 3 fleet races and then the event final.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real disappointment, wasn't it? But these light winds, there's not going to feel like there's a lot of air to breathe here. And I think these new T-foils are going to be great. You will have glide with them, but they're going to be harder to get on the foil initially. So that acceleration phase is crucial. 30 seconds to go.
This is the umpires. Penalty Germany.
Germans, that's a big mistake really
relative
there, isn't
GBR.
it? They've got to drop
Port
right back behind people here for a pre-start penalty there. That's going to be very costly for them. You can see now, top of the screen, we've got the New Zealand crew up and foiling, perhaps a touch early, but if he can stay on the foils, they're going to glide through. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on the French team at the moment. Contant de la Pierre, mid-line. We're looking for that line to turn. White, who's timed it right? Great start by Emirates, Great Britain out the middle of the line. New Zealand are foiling just, but I think they're just about to drop off the foil. That could be disastrous for New Zealand. The French, the British and the Swiss are going to be fast in towards Mark 1 from here, and Great Britain and France really need a big first race if they're going to hope to make the final this afternoon.
So not quite the same speeds we saw yesterday here in Los Angeles, but they are up and foiling, and here we go. Almost 3 wide into mark number 1. This is race number 4.
New Zealand done a pretty good job of hanging on the inside there. Might still get around 4th. Brilliant first leg by Dylan Fletcher and Emirates Great Britain. They really need that. Of course, it's all about being in the top 3 towards the final today, and this is huge for Dylan Fletcher and the team.
So race number 5 is off and running in the port of Los Angeles. It is France the first to turn away.
This first manoeuvre absolutely crucial. Can Britain stay on the foil? Bottom right-hand corner of our screen. They look good. They've done a lovely manoeuvre, and the French fell off the foils. You're going to see a huge lead distance change here right now because the British are going to be going so much quicker. One hull in the water is a lot of drag. One foil is a lot less drag.
You can see how hard Hannah Mills is having to work there to try and keep the boat foiling. They've gone into a slightly different mode there to get further down the course and away from the French.
Take a look at that T-Mobile cam for business. T-Mobile for business giving us these great shots of those T-foils hard at work on board Emirates GBR.
Okay, they're going to try and be keeping this pretty simple round the course here. It's going to be light where Great Britain head because you're going to get in under the adrenaline lounge, but I wouldn't want to do any extra manoeuvres than I had to. You can see all the other boats fell off the foils doing the manoeuvre. Emirates Great Britain, it was silky smooth on the first turn, silky smooth turning up there. It's lovely work, and they're just going to stretch out now. This will be quite relaxing, but look, back in the pack, New Zealand, they fell off the foils and they've dropped back to 6th. Canada, Australia, they're out the back at the moment, but it looks like Canada's about to get some breeze. Giles Scott's calling for the pop onto the foils.
Hey, wings mate.
Oh, big moment for that crew there.
Down after the boy, please. Everything for speed now. 57 target. Down 5, please.
I think what's really interesting, so Annie Hager there, she's had to come up onto the handles and start working those, and I just think it's a lot of load on those handles, isn't it? She's normally a strategist. Suddenly she's got to go and grind that whole big wing sailing.
It's really hard, and the pressure in the wing is actually still really heavy, even though it's light winds, the boats aren't going quite as fast. You're really having to work that wing sheet super hard just to try and get the boat up on the foils.
Hannah, how difficult is it, and we've seen some of the boats do this, once they drop off a foil, they go into H1, one hole here, how hard is it to get back up on and foiling again?
Well, there's a couple of things that go into it. You've got the physical exertion of the strategist, the grinder in this position, trying to generate, just as we can see it on board the French boat at the moment, really put as much power into the handles as they can to allow the wing trimmer to do what they need to do to manipulate the shape of the wing to get back up on the foils.
So there is France currently sitting in 2nd place right now. It's Emirates GBR that lead. They need some big results, Stevie. They did not have the best day in the first 4 races, and this is race number 5 as we kick off day 2 of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, it's all about that top 3 places after our qualifying series to get to the grand final, the 3 races there. And well, it was New Zealand, it was Australia, wasn't it? Canada were doing well. Well, Canada have had a good comeback on this first downwind leg. Excellent work by Fletcher on the British boat right now, but there you go, that's the voice of Ian Jensen. He's just saying, let's keep it simple, try and get straight to the next mark with no more manoeuvres, so they're going to expect not to foil Hannah Mills. That means there's a lot of work to do grinding the wing there, but Luke Parkinson, if you're not foiling, then Luke Parkinson, the flight controller's not got a job, so he can happily come on and help on the handles.
And there you see the race to the final. As it stands right now, it would be New Zealand, France, and Canada making it in, with Emirates GBR just missing out. Remember, to Stevie's point, it is only the top 3 teams on points after the 7 fleet races.
You can see here is just that big first manoeuvre, nailed it by the Emirates Great Britain. They've got a big lead. I think they'll be looking pretty safe. The interesting race really is going to be back in the pack. What can Australia do to salvage something from that 9th? And I think the US team, they had a relatively buoyant finish to yesterday, but they normally specialise in these light winds. I think, you know, it's such a big advantage having Anna Weiss. She's a full-time grinder. She's not a strategist turned grinder. And she's on the handles right now, able to bring an awful lot of horsepower in. As New Zealand, I'm surprised they've done an extra manoeuvre there. They look very slow after that mark.
France currently sitting in 2nd, a long way away from Emirates GBR. We now go down to the water, and the question that everyone wants to know, Lisa Darmanin, is there more wind coming? And if so, when will it arrive?
Well, we do expect the wind to build throughout the afternoon, but one interesting thing about this course, it's the opposite to yesterday, the right-hand side. That's the only place we see boats foiling. So anyone that's heading into the port, they're able to pop on the foils, and that we can see Spain is foiling, Australia is foiling. Looks like the French have also popped up compared to Brazil and Switzerland.
Okay, so Lisa says more wind on the way. Stevie, maybe we'll have more pressure for race number 6. That is coming up. And right now, race number 5 belongs to Emirates GBR as they are out in front by a huge margin. The battle will be on now to see who can salvage this race and pick up 2 or 3 points here more than their opposite team, because you look at Spain, France, Canada, they're really still in the mix. Stevie, Australia, New Zealand, also the USA. There's some teams out there that really aren't have a shot at making that top 3.
So tight, and I wonder if it's any coincidence that there's more wind under the Los Angeles grandstand there. Perhaps the fans are giving a bit of extra help to the breeze on the racecourse. But it's the Spanish are the light wind specialists, especially in LA. This is where they won last year, and look at the way they've progressed up the fleet here. Huge upwind leg for Diego Boutin and his team. And him and the French, well, they're in a real battle to make the final, but look how slow the British boat is, just trickling. They're off the foils there, trying to avoid those other boats, and they're losing a lot of distance here. You can see the speed left-hand side in kilometres an hour. Well, wind speed's similar, but look how much slower the British are going at the moment with 2 hulls in the water. Pretty big call here for the Spanish. I think probably going to like to try and keep things simple and head straight on. Every time they turn the boat, it's a big problem. Right in the middle of our screen, New Zealand are foiling. They're showing a 6th at the moment, but they're going to be making some serious gains. They're nearly twice the speed of the Canadians at the moment.
For a sec.
This is your chance to pop. This bear away moment here. We turn the boat away from the wind. It's your best chance for acceleration to get up and foiling, but it doesn't look like the Spanish are going to manage it. Will the French manage to pop that boat up on the foils? Here they go. Oh, it's lifting. Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Right, the French. Look at them go on the handles there to get that big wing sail moving for the takeoff, but they can't quite keep it foiling. Oh, so close, and they've decided to give up on trying to foil.
So this is leg 4 of 6, race number 5, day 2 of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, and everyone's searching for wind, and Emirates GBR has found it. They are now up and foiling.
Oh, do you know what? I love these light wind races where you're on the foil, you're not on the foil. It's like Super Mario Kart, isn't it? How you can move up and down through the fleet. How stressful it is on board on these ones, though, Hannah?
Well, it all changes so quickly, even though relatively to other days, everything's happening a little bit slower. Actually, the mode changes are so important. Do you invest in foiling, or do you just sail with one hull out of the water and commit to that angle?
Great shots from the 5G POV camera powered by T-Mobile 5G on board Emirates GBR as they continue to search for pressure to get their boat up and foiling. They lead it, France in 2nd, Spain in 3rd, Canada in 4th, and the Swiss now a top 5 position. The Americans have dropped back to 9th.
Really nice upwind leg by the Australians here. They were 10th at the bottom, they're up to 6th. This will be huge for them in this race to the final. Remember, it's all about making the top 3 after we've done our qualifying races today, and a tactical choice here being made. Australia turn left, is going to go straight on New Zealand. Well, Lisa was talking about more wind under the fans on the shoreline. Who's made the right call here? New Zealand have got a decent chance to get up and foiling as they turn away from the breeze. Learn a lot about the course.
Yeah, copy. My wheel. Nice gust, chopper gusting through.
Take that.
It's pretty slow, isn't it? New Zealand left-hand side of our screen, right under the fans. They are foiling, but can they stick another manoeuvre? If they can stay on the foils here, they're bound to be right back up near the front of the fleet, but they're not going to be able to do it. It's just too light at the top of the course. It's really dancing on ice. Mouse in carpet, slippers required as they move around the boat there, but New Zealand for a moment, they were nearly away.
So it'll be Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR that get to gate 4 the fastest, and I say fastest as they cross the line. The course has been shortened, and that is your Emirates winning moment. So they shortened the course from 6 legs down to 4, and we were just caught off guard. Apologies there. It is Emirates GBR that claims race number 5 for your Emirates winning moment.
Well, you'd take that if you're on board Emirates Great Britain, wouldn't you? And right now, well, it's Spain with the right of way. Canada not really making any progress towards this finish line right now. They're sailing parallel to those ladder lines. Spain look good for a 2nd place here. That's right. Don't want it. That's right. I think that's a good call, Florian. Let's get weight off. I don't think you want to try and foil here. Just get to the finish in one hit. There they go. Joe Cordona just getting down, but a little bit late for me. Florian called for that a few seconds earlier, and those two have just run to the other side of the boat, but they've done it a little late.
Should be okay though, right?
Looks like they're going to be okay, Todd, doesn't it? But I think, you know, that'll be an interesting one for them to debrief afterwards. Got to be quick adapting to these changes, these mode changes that Hannah was talking about, and they were perhaps a little slow there. But anyway, 2nd place. They've done a far better job than I would have done, needless to say.
Adapting on the fly, all of us are, as the race is shortened, and crossing the finish line in 2nd place is the winners of last year's event here in Los Angeles, and the reigning Season 4 champions, Spain. They get 2nd, valuable points there. Now the race is on for 3rd, and this can be huge. Canada looks to have a slight advantage over France.
It's a big moment here, especially with New Zealand and Australia back 7th and 8th at the moment. This is a big, big thing. Dip for the finish here, potentially. Both boats are going to turn hard to their left to try and go straight through the line. They both go pretty early for my money. Looks like the Canadians are going to do it. Oh, I'd love to know who's going faster. They both, it's like a 100-metre dash. Dip for the line. Canada are going to get it. Could be
Canada,
huge.
Yeah, that would be a big difference.
Top right-hand corner, Todd. Sorry to interrupt. The Australians were up and foiling at that moment there. Look at them on the right-hand, top right-hand corner of our screen. They're foiling. Swiss in 5th at the moment, but not on the foils, and the Aussies are in a gust of breeze. Can they stick this manoeuvre?
No, foiling.
Oh, it's
look at this.
beautiful. Oh, that was... What a manoeuvre. That was just Chris Draper on the new side of the boat. He had the wing, he had the steering wheel, he had it all, but they managed to stick that manoeuvre beautifully. This is going to be massive. Could be a 5th place here.
They're going to pick up the extra points as Australia comes flying towards the finish line. Look at the speed difference between them and the Swiss. And coming to the line, just like he did yesterday, Tom Slingsby has found some more magic on the Pacific, and they'll pick up an additional spot.
Somebody taught Tom Slingsby how to sail in light breeze, because they are rapid through the fleet. They were 10th after that start. Disastrous start. Excuse us for a bit of industrial language on board there. That hasn't changed with Tom Slingsby, has it? Even if the light wind Techers has come on a little bit, but they'll be very happy with that gain. Solid mid-fleeter for the Swiss, but they probably needed something special, and this could be a tough day for the Kiwis. They're going to need something special in the next race.
You can see how changeable it is. There's no form book at all today, so really difficult to keep the boat going. The teams who've had a bit of a more difficult race are going to have to pick themselves up, turn themselves around for the next race.
So now the race is on to see who can salvage at 7th place right now. Will it be Germany or will it be the Kiwis, Stevie? This is the question, and it looks like Germany has more speed. They have the right of way, and the Kiwis have to worry about Brazil right now.
Yeah, the Kiwis have got to keep clear of Brazil, and they're trying to shut the door here on the Brazilian team. Brazil are going to gain the right of way, potentially. Now they've got to keep clear of New Zealand. It's tight, but the Kiwis need every point they can get.
Red's there, right? Slap them. Go outside.
And this is a battle for 8th position, and Pete Burling realizes what's at stake.
He's got to say, Marcini can't turn there yet. They're wide of the 3 boat length circle. Burling's going to spin it. He wants to make sure he's not overlapped as he comes into the circle. It's all about accelerating out of here.
But has he opened the door now for Italy?
They've nearly gone off the course. Italy, maybe, but they're a long way back. I think Burling's hoping to enter the circle, not overlapped. He's now putting disturbed air on Brazil. Great move by Burling. It was aggressive, it was legal, and he's got the job done.
Look at that. Look at that. That's like parallel parking. Holy cow, New Zealand will pick it up. And then Brazil will finish in 9th.
That was tight. The debrief begins already on board all these boats at the back, and for the USA and Italy, not a good race.
So frustration for US SailGP team. Stevie, let's go back to the start.
Well, it was a great start, and again, those first boats at Mark 1, it was Emirates Great Britain that hit the line foiling. France up and doing well as well on the foils, and it was those 2 boats that really were able to stretch away. But I think the key, as we saw, was this first manoeuvre. Here we go, look, France, they drop off the foils. Emirates Great Britain, they've got a little bit of gap, but they're foiling. Their angle's much more efficient towards the next gate, but more importantly, they're doing nearly twice the speed. And that manoeuvre was what won it for the British. It was all about delicate, accurate manoeuvres, sailing smoothly and softly. Well, Britain did a very, very nice job of that. There were some tight moments around the course. Well, we're becoming used to that in SailGP now, aren't we, Hannah?
And you can see how much more difficult it is to sail in the pack. There's no foiling when boats are around others. So if you can get free, brilliant. But it got much lighter towards the finish. Really tricky.
So on a shorter course, the Emirates winning moment goes the way of Emirates GBR in race number 5. And it seems only appropriate the Emirates fly time goes the way of Emirates GBR. Stevie, not the biggest number we've seen in fly time before at 31%, but they got the job done on a shortened course, and they get the win, most importantly, and the 10 points that go with it. So as we take a look at the standings now, after 5 complete races here at the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, it is Canada on top, 36 points ahead of New Zealand and Australia. Look at France, 1 point back. Emirates GBR still in the hunt, as is Spain. United States with a glimmer of hope for the rest of the squad. They're going to start thinking about San Francisco, but the race is on to make the top 3 spots here in the Port of LA. Well, it's a beautiful day in California. The sun is out. The sailing fans are in the adrenaline lounge, and all the Americans are hoping that the hometown team can pull off a huge victory in race number 6 and possibly race number 7. 10 points to the winner, 1 point for 10th, 11th, 12th. You get absolutely nothing.
Spain, it's the strategist Nicole van Velden who's fighting really hard. She's still recovering from a knee injury from the previous Grand Prix.
La rodillera.
So Nicole, the strategist on the Spanish team, endured an injury in Auckland.
Stand like that. 2, 1. No, I'm not ready.
It's quite a significant injury. She fought through the racing just to get through.
The feeling was a bit like I dislocated my knee. I just felt like I started losing stability in the knee.
Okay, Americans coming. I'm not okay.
So at some point I just couldn't cross and had to go on the bump from side to side.
She decided, between all of us, decided that she was going to stay the whole day in the boat, and it was quite impressive to see how she went through the day. She's been working so hard the last 2 weeks to make the knee as strong as possible, and she made it here with a knee brace, and now she's racing and she's doing an amazing job. So yeah, hats off for her.
Welcome to day 2 of racing here in Sydney Harbor. Team France currently 3rd on the leaderboard. They need a performance like yesterday to qualify for today's final. Spain still has an opportunity to qualify too, but they need more points than France. Gate 5 in Sydney Harbor, France versus Spain. We got a tight cross coming.
Smart move by Quentin de la Pierre. He's now behind the Spanish, but he is going to bring the boat home safe. It was a safe play by the French.
Winning is a process. What I learned from these 2 missing grand finals is just knowing that you will achieve your goal.
My prediction is that they will be in the final this year, and we have to see, no? But obviously they were one of the big teams to beat today.
Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
The Port of Los Angeles, the busiest port in the Western Hemisphere. Billions of dollars is being invested in community engagement, new technologies to reduce emissions, and to provide public access throughout the LA waterfront. It's the community and visitor-serving face of the port that includes 400 acres of deindustrialized port property, situated along 8 miles of water frontage, designated to attract visitors and locals to see all the port has to offer. It's a public spotlight on the port's main shipping channel where you can see the largest container ships in the world and enjoy miles of public promenades and visitor attractions. And it's the second time the league has come to the Port of LA. Last year, Spain winning the inaugural event. And now as we come up on 1 minute to go before the start of race number 6, the penultimate fleet race before the field is cut, and only the top 3 teams will race in the final. So Hannah Diamond, it's your final minute of preparation. What is going through the crew's minds and who is saying what on board?
Well, the main thing you're looking for is a gap on the line so you can get up to speed as quick as you can. So it's really hard in these conditions to find that space, but also looking forwards along the reach to make sure you've got enough pressure if you're going to foil at the start or not.
Pretty early back, a lot of the boats here, Todd. I think it's interesting to see. We see the Rolex Predictor sits on top of the Australian wing at the moment, and I do like where they're positioned. As long as they can stop the Italians taking a dive at them, they're near that pole position. Optimum Predictor there to start in the middle of the line. New Zealand left-hand side of screen, their way out the back. They need a good race here, as does Emirates Great Britain, but they're both going to need to try and part a hole in the fleet. Has New Zealand seen a gap between Australia and Italy? It's coming down, 12 seconds to go. It's all about acceleration. New Zealand have got a gap. Can they foil through it? It's going to be tight at the top. USA are going to be trapped. Great Britain, Canada potentially all trapped out. Watch for that line to go wide. Oh, it's a good start midline by Australia. New Zealand are coming through fast as well, and them and the Italians are going to be driving towards Mark 1, but Emirates, Great Britain, United States, they're shut out. That could be a regatta ender for those 2 boats.
So here we go, race number 6 here in Los Angeles, and the whole shot at mark number 1 goes the way of the Aussies.
Remember how crucial, look how close gate 2 is. This manoeuvre absolutely pivotal here for the Aussies. Watch them, can they stay on the foils?
Angle.
No surprise that your Rolex Sprint leader goes the way of Tom Slingsby in Australia. The course has been shortened there. See how close it is now, Hannah. So things get tighter now with 11 boats out there all fighting for the sweet spot on the course.
Yeah, that's right, and I think it'll be the same again. If you can get away in clear air, then you're going to be off, but if you're back in the pack, finding some space is going to be key.
Australia, Italy and New Zealand all stuck that first manoeuvre here, Todd. And interesting, we heard Tash say Italy are going to be close, but she thinks they'll follow, and I think that's right. You've got to try and stay clean and on the foils, minimise the manoeuvres if you can.
Standing up in 5, standing up in 3, 2, 1, coming up.
On board Red Bull Italy, Rogero Tito, the two-time Olympic gold medalist, four-time NACRA world champion at the wheel.
Already a couple of gains for Emirates Great Britain, left-hand side of screen. Spain in the middle struggling, and that race for the final, well, it's crucial Spain gets some good points because Canada have also pulled themselves out of the fire here. They were struggling at Mark 1, but they got a good manoeuvre in. They stayed on the foils, and they're straight up to fourth. Canada are really on fire at this event so far.
Gate number 2, the DP World Gate, as Switzerland goes sliding through. They're currently in 6th place. Australia, there you see out in front, and a penalty coming for the Italians, and it looks like the Kiwis have moved up to 3rd, possibly moving into 2nd place with that penalty.
Yeah, New Zealand will be able to really hurt the Italian boat with bad wind there, and you can see there's not a lot of wind at the bottom of the course here. Emirates Great Britain, it looks really, really light. They've tried to split the course to find space on their own. They need to make something happen, but Lisa, is there still more wind towards that right-hand side of the course under the Adrenaline Lounge?
Angle.
I'm not sure if we're quite getting through to Lisa right now, but it looked like a good gain on that side to New Zealand, to Australia. So I think still what Lisa was saying from first race stands a little bit. Tash Bryant having to work hard on the handles.
I don't know if we'll make the kink or not.
Should be almost
all trying to minimise manoeuvres here, but it's such a tight course. They're all thinking ahead. Going to turn right, but they've got to get out there. Where's the best breeze on the course at the moment, Lisa, as the Aussies turn away?
Angle. A little further.
I think the Aussies are heading into good pressure. It is more even across the course. It is gusty, so I think the one priority is do the manoeuvres when you're in the best pressure. Even if you're not quite on the lay, like just take it, because the difference between foiling and not foiling is the difference between 1st and 8th right now.
And this is one of those scenarios where you're not necessarily sailing the shortest distance. You've just got to keep the boat going as fast as you can. And if that means sailing a little bit further, you definitely do that to stay on the foils.
So this is leg 4 of 6. This is race number 6. We got one more fleet race, and then the fleet will be cut. Only the top 3 teams will participate in the event final to find out who will be the champion of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix.
This is the umpires. Penalty Italy. Port boat not keeping clear, go behind France.
That's 2 penalties on that
happened just before the mark when they didn't manoeuvre out the French's way enough, so they've got to get back behind France now. Might not be too costly a penalty there, almost a hint of a professional foul potentially in that one, but it might be a penalty well taken. They have to drop back. Australia a long way ahead here. New Zealand, middle of our screen, they're off the foils heading downwind. It's good opportunity for the French to make a move on them. Points absolutely count at the moment, and for Australia, well, they are down the road. This race looks very good. We're nearly on the final upwind leg. Leg 4 of 6 just coming to an end here. Simple shot upwind for the Aussies. Looks good for them.
And you'd anticipate the Australian team, Stevie, winning the Emirates fly time because they have doing a masterful job from the start, hitting the line almost perfectly. So now, Hannah, you got to sit on board Australia and say, okay, don't make any mistakes. Let's keep it clean, keeping the maneuvers at a minimum.
Yeah, that's right, and just trying to stay away from other boats as much as possible. They're really liking that left turn at the bottom. I think they've seen a little bit more wind over there. They've just got to make sure they can get out of that corner and not have any wind shadow under the fan stadium.
Massive downwind leg for the French, for the British here. At the moment when we look at the points, Australia would be leading if it finished as it was now, tied with the New Zealand crew. But Canada are still hanging in there in 3rd, and then we're looking at France, Great Britain and Spain would be struggling to get a shot at the final as it stands. So they need a massive downwind leg on board those 3 boats if they're going to close things back up.
So North Star Canada holding on that 3rd and final transfer position, Stevie, but they are only 3 points clear of France. So that basically means it's going to come down to race number 7.
It does, doesn't it? We've got the Oracle Cloud there giving us a bit of a shout out to the race to that final, and it shows what we said. It shows Australia, New Zealand and Canada currently looking good for the final. The French have got an outside shot, but they need to overtake some places on this downwind leg desperately.
France could do themselves a big solid if they can pick up maybe 2 or 3 positions here, not finish in 7th, maybe in 5th, and then beat the Canadians in the next race. But Australia and New Zealand, Hannah, they look so good right now. They just look clean.
Yeah, they do. And I think the wind looks like it's picked up a little bit, which is making it a lot easier to fly the boat. So now it's going to be about not dropping off the foils in the maneuvers, rather than where can you find the breeze to get foiling.
Lisa, I've got to ask you, if the wind does pick up on race number 7 in the event final, would the race committee go back to 6 people on board, or are they going to stay with 4 throughout the day?
So generally, if they're not foiling, it's just 4 people on board. So before the race, they're foiling and 6 people on board. So I would expect a crew change going into the next race if the wind stays as it is.
Stevie, I got to imagine that's a huge plus for some of these teams if they could go to 6.
It would be a big deal for them, I think. I mean, I always, like I say, I'm surprised the US team are struggling. I think it's one of their really good strengths is this light wind sailing, but they're struggling today out there. Right now, bottom of our screen, Spain are foiling, Germany are just foiling, but Great Britain and France have fallen off. If Spain can stay on the foils, this could be their moment. This manoeuvre, crucial. Does the hull stay out of the water? Eyes on it. Well, we're going to see when they come back in from the bottom. Here we go, they're back on board and they are foiling. A little bit of tension brought in for us there, Todd, taking us away for a second. Beautiful manoeuvre by Spain. This is a massive opportunity for the Spanish. They might be able to get into this bottom gate staying on the foils, and if they do, could keep them in with a chance of the final.
And there is the leader, Australia, on board as they make the turn around that gate. It is leg 6 of 6, and the Aussies are on their way to Hallelujah Land. The Emirates winning moment in race number 6 goes the way of Tom Slingsby and Australia.
Brilliant start, brilliant execution of that first downwind leg, and it's just clean from there. Very smooth sailing by that 4.
So now they get the benefit, Hannah, of just getting a little more debriefing time, as they will get 2 or 3 minutes probably before the next boat even comes through, as they've got a long way to go in the battle now between the Kiwis there on the left side of your screen and the Canadians.
And they've put the Canadians in a really tough spot with that lane that they're going to hold all the way back across the middle of the course. So I'd expect to see the Kiwis try and get foiling from there if they can build a little bit more speed. But actually, if they keep in that high mode there, they're making life really hard for the Canadians.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go a bit more aggressive. I don't see the need for them to foil at that stage, really. They could just stay right on them. It's a race to protect second. There's no bonuses for being 100, 200 metres ahead of the 3rd place finisher, so just make it hard for the Canadians. There they go, they're starting to come up now. H1, that just means we're going to just have one hull up in the air. Normally when they're foiling, both the hulls are up, but it's just not quite windy enough now. So what they're doing, they're sailing a bit slower, but a bit more directly towards the mark to try and make sure they minimise distance. Bottom of screen, Italy, look, doing nearly twice the speed. Can they go round the outside of New Zealand and Canada? Big moment for Rogero Tita, but he has got 2 more manoeuvres to do, potentially none more for the New Zealand and the Canadians. Here we go. This manoeuvre crucial for the Italians. If they nail it, they've got a shot at getting in that 2nd place.
On board. 2, 1, lock. Turning. 1, touch and go.
They did a nice job.
Yeah,
it
but I
was a
think
smooth move. The
waited
Kiwis,
a little too late.
Maybe a little bit. The Kiwis around, and I think Canada are going to be okay here. Canada have got to keep clear. Giles Scott has to watch out here. Italy have the right of way. Canada have got to be sure they're clear ahead. I think he's judged that very well. North Star Canada will get the 3rd. Kiwis put on a little bit of a show for the fans with a double foil across the line there. And well, back in the pack, where are the Spanish, where are the British?
And the French have really fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, this is massive for that race to the final. I think Australia, New Zealand and Canada are sitting very, very pretty in that race to the final now.
So Giles Scott and North Star Canada, they will come across the line rather slowly, but the damage has been done as they will pick up some very valuable points. That's 8 more points added to their total. Remember, 10 points for win, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place. 11th to 12th gets nothing. Italy will slowly follow them into 4th place. So Red Bull Italy, a strong performance for them, Stevie, but they needed more of that on day number 1.
Yeah, they did. I mean, you know, they're still in that learning phase. We hear, you know, there's probably Slightly more giggles happening on board the Canadian boat. Paul Campbell-James asking Giles Scott how the stress levels were. I'm pretty sure they're going to be fairly high on many people, no more so than on the French and the British boat. Now, of course, remember, Emirates Great Britain have yet to miss a final this year, so they're not going to be happy with... Whoa, look at that, the rudder's let go there. Oh, you just saw that rudder start to stall out, drop down, and then it changed the angle relatively to the front foils. Fairly spectacular from the Swiss. No damage, nothing harmful done there, but it certainly gave the fans a little bit of a show.
So Great Britain right there, the center of your screen. Germany coming in about 15 kilometers faster, and this will be a very critical moment because Emirates GBR has got to get this point. They cannot give up another point because that will put them almost out of reach of the final in race number 7.
Coming up. He will lock you to the boundary? No, he does.
Here we go, we have to watch out. Germany have to keep clear of the British here. Great Britain are going to spin away. Emirates Great Britain. Solid one for them, but possibly not really what they needed. They had such a good start today. They looked imperious in race 1 out there today, or the 5th, race 5 of this event here in Los Angeles, of course. But it's not enough in this race, I'm afraid, for Emirates Great Britain.
So it will be Emirates GBR crossing the finish line, and they will claim 6th place. Germany Deutsche Bank will claim 7th, and now look at this, a full SIG alert on the final gate. It is France, Mubadala Brazil, and the US SailGP team all fighting for position number 8, 9, and 10.
Disaster for Spain, really. They've managed to do such a good job on the foils before. But right then they just dropped back, lost a few places, and that's going to put them really now out of the chance of getting to that final.
French. Yeah, copy.
France is just going to make life miserable for the U.S. team as they slow down just enough. The U.S. will have to dip behind them, and it looks like the U.S. will get ahead, though, of Brazil. Spain, Stevie, just not their day. Not like last year when they were dominating these waters. So Spain will finish in last, and they will claim 0 points. Let's go back to the start of race number 6 once again. And we've said this beforehand, and Stevie, it's all about the start. It was a slow start, but very technical.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Burling found a gap through the middle of the line. Australians had really dominated that start from early, so he'd sort of earned his start pretty well. But New Zealand just found a gap through the middle. Hey, Hannah.
Yeah, they did, and you know, you've got to decide whether you're going to get the boat foiling or not, and then if you can hold that round mark 1, you're pretty much straight through to the first gate, and you know, the race is easy from there.
Yeah, right, easy if you can do those foiling manoeuvres. And of course it was the British and the United States had got in a bit of a fight, got tangled up with each other, and it's not the day for that. It's all about being silky smooth, and we saw the first 3 boats, a little bit of advantage over the rest of the fleet, and that just extended and extended. It was an absolute masterclass for the fans on the shoreline there. And I'm thinking now, these grinders, you know, Tash Bryant, she's had to go off meat grinder all day. They're going to be getting tired.
No question about it, and we will see if the wind fills in, as Lisa Darmana reported, and maybe, just maybe, they'll go to 6 people on board as the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians. And why not give them a double? The Emirates fly time, 58%. So remember, the first race, it was in 30% range. This time in the 58% range time, and Australia claims that. So we are down to 1 final race. It'll be race number 7. And here are the standings. It is Canada on top with 44 points and a tie for second with Australia and New Zealand. So some very likely suspects in the same spot. Emirates GBR, look at this. They are 7 points out. They will need an absolute victory in the next race, and they'll need some help. France may be in that same case, but for Spain on down, their opportunity has come and gone. Big 7th race still to come here in the Port of LA. Well, a difficult couple of races for Spain, but the Port of Los Angeles holds some fond memories for Diego Botín team, who found their first event win here last season, a moment that put them on the path to SailGP glory. This season has already thrown up some incredible moments and huge challenges as they look to retain the trophy.
Expectation in sport is a massive thing that affects mindset. Now we are going through a different phase. Now expectations are higher. We have a winning team, and we have to prove it.
And for the first time in SailGP history, the young team from Spain will claim the victory here in Los Angeles.
LA Season 4 was a a very big event for us. We came from not having good results, and yeah, we had a super good event here. We didn't expect the win.
It was a huge milestone for the team. Really did set the foot towards the rest of the season, and knowing that we could win events.
And from LA onwards, we boosted our confidence, and since then, for us, it's been a matter of still improving and staying humble at the same time by knowing that we're up against the best sailors in the world.
And they will get it! Vamos España! Spain claims season 4!
Yeah, I think if you would have told us not at the start of that season that the end result would be us winning the season, then we probably wouldn't have believed it. Yeah, it was unexpected for us.
And we didn't thought we were the best team after winning in San Fran. The moment you think you really are the best, it's very easy to not do enough and the others to catch up, no? So yeah, that's the mindset we like to keep.
Can they handle the speed? This is going to be frantic.
When you get an injury, it always takes a lot of time and it goes with ups and downs, but feeling the confidence of the team and knowing that they trust in having you there and want you there, I think that makes you want to battle through.
It made us all realize that we're very vulnerable as athletes. It's not easy to prepare spare sailors on the F50.
Spain giving a little bit of a masterclass.
I believe the pressure we feel right now is a very healthy pressure. It helps us to really excel so we can be a better version of ourselves.
So Hannah Diamond, we saw just how treacherous it is on board an F50, especially in the crossing.
Yeah, that's right. Just crossing the boat can be pretty tricky, but the Spanish are such a tight-knit team. They do such a good job of working together. They've learnt the F50 so quickly, and they're really putting together as a tight team. We see that coming through in the results.
Cole is trying to fight through that as we see Spain looking like they will not be making the final today, and they're going to need some major performances here and some help. 2 minutes to go before the start of the final race. There is the standings. Canada, Australia, New Zealand right now are in. Great Britain and France, Stevie, I say, have a slight chance of getting in, but they're going to need some help.
Yeah, go win the race. Pretty simple message, I'd say, for the British and the French from their coaches. I'd guess they'd just say, go win the race, and let's hope that either Canada, Australia and New Zealand make a bit of a mess of it and give us an opportunity to get in. That's too big a gap to really control it yourself. Great Britain got tangled up in the last start. He got in a fight with Taylor Canfield, but he's foiling now. Can they do something a bit more simple? And I imagine Robbie Wilson would have just told him, let's just go win the race, hey, Hannah?
Yeah, with a fleet this size, there's not really anything you can do to control all the other boats, so just focus on your own performance.
4 now. That's when we don't lay. Yep.
Coming up on a minute to go before the start of race number 7, the final fleet race here at the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. Only the top 3 teams after this race will be moving on to the 3-boat event final.
Middle of the line, Australia early back. They're deciding to try and really control the starts. They're right slap bang in the middle of our screen, the Australians there, and they're really trying to control these starts. New Zealand off to the left-hand side. Great Britain this time have found some space. France has space as well. 42 seconds to go. We see that blue triangle. That's our optimum pole predictor position to start. That should give you the optimum equation of distance versus speed towards Mark 1, and the Australians are well lined up for it. At the moment, the Rolex pole predictor sits right on top of that Australian wing, and the boats are trickling in here. They're all a little early for me. They're going to have to get slow late on. France dip out the way. Canada currently the favourites. They've been starting really well. 17 seconds to go. Brazil well positioned, Canada well positioned, and Great Britain well positioned. New Zealand are struggling to get a good start from here. All about the acceleration now. Winding up onto the foils here. The boats turn down. We're looking for the line to turn white, and we'll be go on the final qualifying race.
No foil yet, no foil yet.
Good start by Emirates Great Britain. Are they foiling? I think they might be about to. Germany have come through on the foils. Switzerland are on the foils. And yes, Emirates Great Britain are on the foils. They need to win the race if they're going to have a shot at the final. And this could be just the move they need.
At mark number 1, the final fleet race of Los Angeles event, and it is Emirates GBR desperately needed a whole shot, and they get it.
Oh, and this is the race we've got to watch. It's a simple watch now. Left-hand side of screen, New Zealand are last. Emirates Great Britain are in the lead. All about this manoeuvre for Emirates Great Britain. First 3 boats turn at the same time. Who does it best? Switzerland are off the foils. Germany hang in, but perfect from Emirates Great Britain. Rolex Sprint leader, and they are going to be gone at gate 2.
Germany have done a good job coming out of that jibe exit. They're working really down low, close to Emirates GBR.
Nice job. I think Emirates Great Britain will go around the outside from here, and it'll be Germany following. Question now is New Zealand. They're sat in 11th, and that will put them 4th overall in the race to the final at the moment. They've got work to do. There's a chance here. You're saying there's a chance, Dylan Fletcher.
It gets really interesting because if the race standings go like this for the rest of this race, it would be Emirates GBR that would get into the final, bumping New Zealand into 4th by 2 points. So the Kiwis, they've got to get up and go.
They have, and Canada are doing a nice job. Of course, Canada, Australia, they can't afford to drop too far back either. But right now, it looks very good for Emirates Great Britain. The Kiwis left-hand side of screen, here they come. They're coming into view. To me, they will have gained a few places here, but the crucial thing is, can they get foiling? It looks like they can. I think the Kiwis are going to get foiling, and they're going to overtake a fair few boats. It's chaotic on the course here because this first downwind leg's so short, but New Zealand are foiling. They're going to be way, way up the leaderboard from where they are after this. They're going to go behind Australia and look to turn left. Pressure could be on the Australians rather than the Kiwis after this gate. Spain are going to have rights on the inside. This is getting really difficult for the Australians right now. It's going to be advantage New Zealand over Australia. Tom Slingsby's on the back foot. He's got serious work to do here.
Lots of up here.
And now it's Australia dropping into that 4th position. So as it stands right now, it would be New Zealand, Canada, and Great Britain.
It would. I think Australia are actually slightly better. I think because the fleet's so congested with people on the first downwind leg still. Yeah, there you go. Sudden jump up.
Yep.
And I think that would be enough. 7th is enough. But Australia are right on the cusp. Dylan Fletcher and Emirates Great Britain can't do any more right now. But Australia needs to finish 7th if they're going to make the final. That's the simple battle. What a first downwind leg for Peter Burling and the New Zealand crew. Saved their event in that manoeuvre.
Take you on board Emirates GBR. Beautiful shot there. That's what we want to see. Nice, clean foiling. Hannah, your old team looking very good, but the situation is this. They can win the race, but they still can't guarantee themselves a spot in the final.
No, and you can hear the tempo on board is quite calm because they'll be very aware that if they can win the race, whatever happens behind them, they can't influence it.
I think what's important to remember at this stage, Todd, look, bottom right-hand side, the Oracle Cloud gives us that race to the final. Great Britain are ahead, but the same points as Australia. It's important to remember if you're in a tie-break, it's the person that does best in the last race that will get the shot through to the final. So it's good for Emirates Great Britain at the moment, but the Australians have just overtaken one place up to 7th. He's got to work.
Oh, we got to set up better than this. Ridiculous, just lost it. Okay, Max stiff there.
Okay, a big moment. Can Tom Slingsby reset himself? There's plenty of opportunity on this racetrack, but we're nearly halfway through the race. Got work to do.
So they'll come up to the top of the course, then they'll go back down, then it's over to the quick shot in front of the fans. Tom Slingsby's going to try to rally. See, there's 2 teams out there that I would not put money on not to make the final because all they have to do is work their way up a few positions. It would be Australia and New Zealand. They are the craftiest of working their way through the pack.
Yeah, they've just normally got really good manoeuvres, but you can hear the tension levels are high, aren't they? You know, there's a lot of money on the line at this event, as well as the championship points. Tom Slingsby will be well aware of that. He's going to set up for one more manoeuvre and a left turn. Great Britain are nearly a leg ahead. Look, they are just sailing away with it here. New Zealand right-hand side of screen, they have to finish ahead of Australia, and in fact, they really want to be trying to keep a couple of places in the bank, but they're foiling right now, 37, 38 kilometres now. Looks good for the New Zealand crew at the moment.
And Australia just picked up another position as they move ahead of Spain.
They've got to get back past Switzerland, I'm pretty sure. They need to overtake the Swiss if they were. Here we go. Oh, Australia have got it. If it stays as it is, 1 point in it. Oh, this is so tense for them.
So Tom Slingsby gives a quick on-water pep talk, and they rally for another position. Will that position hold, or does Dio Botin come back and turn the tables on him? Meanwhile, it's Emirates GBR. They've already made the turn at the last gate, and they are heading upwind.
Yeah, I mean, Emirates GBR have done absolutely everything they can, sailing a great race here, as you say. The final upwind leg, nothing more they can really do. I wonder if they could maybe slightly slow down the Australians somehow. It'd be a little bit of a non-ideal move, but you can at least put yourself in their way so they've got to sail around you.
Bottom line, Hannah, they own the tiebreaker. So if they just win this race, they'll cross the line, they'll feel great about winning the last race, but they'll just wait and see what Tom Slingsby and the rest of the fleet do.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a nervous moment sometimes when you cross the finish line. There's nothing more you can do and see where the chips fall after that.
I think any of us, you'd probably tell us better than anyone, Hannah, but you know, Dylan Fletcher's not going to be happy with winning the last race and not making the final, is he?
No, and sometimes it does just play out like that, but they're doing an excellent job so far in this race and winning the first race of today as well.
Tight with Australia and New Zealand still here. Pressure manoeuvres for the Kiwis. They've got a couple of manoeuvres to do. Australia and Switzerland are very tight as well. The Aussies are chasing the Swiss down. It's going to come down to these last couple of manoeuvres at the bottom.
Sebastian Schneider, he is at the wheel of Switzerland. Yeah, he is, but Stevie, he has got the masterclass behind him, and Tom Slingsby just tracking him down.
He has, but Slingsby needs to know that he doesn't have to overtake the Swiss. What he has to do is not get tangled up and slowed by the Swiss. What a manoeuvre by the Australians under pressure, though. The Roos have nailed that. They've got to keep clear of Switzerland at the moment, but as soon as they enter that yellow circle, the Aussies will have the right of way. But the Australians, the crucial thing, can they stay foiling?
Coming up here, staying fast.
They've nailed that, Todd. They've absolutely nailed that. It was a perfect ley line. Sailed about 30 metres less than the Swiss. Nailed the manoeuvre. That might be the moment we say the Australian booked their ticket in the final.
So Great Britain still way out in front by more than 200 meters in the distance. They will win this race, barring any major disaster. There they are at the bottom of your screen, just cruising along at 24 kilometers an hour. Probably unaware of what's happening in the back of the pack as the Australians have overtaken the Swiss. They are in 7th place. As long as they stay in that 7th, Stevie, they look to be safe.
Stay on the wheel, stay on the wheel.
Oh, a bit of a tangle for Chris Draper there. He crossed over and was going to take the wheel, but he managed to get a bit tangled. I think they've salvaged it, but at the moment the Spanish could have gone round and got ahead of the Australians, I'd say, to my eye. The Spanish have got the right of way, coming in from the left-hand side of our screen. Both boats struggling to progress much upwind, but the Kiwis crucially are foiling, as are the Spanish, so they're going to be starting to absolutely motor up this racetrack at the moment. Lisa, what hope have you got for the Australian fans out there? Are they heading the right way?
I think they're heading the right way, but the issue we've got, if you look at the New Zealand, if they make the ley line, they've got to do 1 manoeuvre, where Australia still have to do 2 manoeuvres. So this is a really dangerous spot for Australia to be in right now.
No danger for Emirates GBR, Lisa, as they make through the last gate, and as they approach the line in front of the fans, the Emirates winning moment will go to Emirates GBR. So the Brits claim the win in race number 7, and now they sit and wait and look for some help.
There you go, Dylan's already asking. Poor old Rob Wilson's got to be getting the answers out to Dylan quickly here. The crucial boat right now is the US. They've got the right of way. They're going to cross ahead of Australia. That currently puts the British in the final and Australia out of it. Australia have got more manoeuvres to do, and they've got to be ahead of USA and Switzerland when they come back together if they're going to hope to make the final. They're foiling, but the US have got one less manoeuvre to do.
Well sailed, team. Good race. Good race. It's really tight. We need Australia to lose a place.
So there's Rob Wilson confirming what Stevie had just said. Australia sitting at 7th place. They need to drop to 8th place to give Emirates GBR a chance of making the final. Germany's in safely in 2nd place, and now the race is on. Italy looks to be claiming 3rd. Canada's going to do themselves a solid, so they seem safe as they will come in 4th, and then New Zealand. And keep your eye on the center of the screen. You'll see Australia coming in, and watch the USA, the Stars and Stripes.
That's exactly it, Todd. That's the race. So this manoeuvre by the US is crucial. They've not got the wing pop. They're a bit late popping the wing, just in time. Got a lot of heel in the boat there, but they're okay. Now, Australia have the right of way, but they've got one more manoeuvre to do. USA will be thinking they can get there with no more manoeuvres, but they've got to keep clear of the Aussies, and it's all about that for the race to the final. Can Slingsby find a way to hold Canfield behind him?
And coming up here.
Here's the cross.
He's dialed him down a little bit, tried to make it hard for Taylor to make the mark with no more manoeuvres, but I think the USA team look all right. Slingsby's only hope is to stay foiling and go trailer park round the outside.
Get a little press for the market.
USA are going to be slow. Australia are going to be on the foils. Here we go. Slingsby's lining up the Slingsby slingshot into the finish. It's going to come down to this. Can he get past the US boat?
Never has a battle for 7th place been more exciting than this. As the Americans get into the circle, they've got the inside line. Taylor Canfield will spin it around. Can Canfield and the Americans hold off the Australians? Great Britain is certainly hoping so.
Australia have got to keep clear. Australia have got to keep clear until they get near that boundary, and then all of a sudden the Aussies will have right of way to keep clear. They're staying on the foils. I think he's done it, Todd.
Oh my goodness.
He's got a sense of drama on board there, hasn't he? Johnny Drama, Tom Slingsby on the boat. He's just got to glide across the line. I think that's enough.
Just enough, as Tom Slingsby will claim 7th. US SailGP will finish in 8th. And by Stevie's calculations and a quick work on the abacus, it looks like Australia has done just enough to get into the 3-boat final as US SailGP crosses the line in 8th. Switzerland will finish in 9th with Brazil in 10th.
Pretty sure I'm right with my maths there, Todd, and the Oracle Cloud's backing me up as well, which is a far more reliable source of data, that is for sure. I think with Australia, well, that's hard for Emirates Great Britain. That's the first final they're going to miss in season 5, but wow, they came up good when they needed to. They had to win the race. They did win the race. What an incredible final race.
France still out on the water. Just a terrible second day for them as they finished in 11th place. Tough day as they had an 8th in the race before this, but had a 4th in race number 5. Let's take a look at the standings, and they are confirmed. It will be by 1 point. Australia edges out Emirates GBR, so their run of finals stops at 3. It will be New Zealand, Canada, and Australia battling for the big title here in the Port of LA. Who will claim the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, event 4 of season 5? It is all to play for. It'll be Giles Scott, Peter Burling, and Tom Slingsby doing battle out on the Pacific. So we go down on the water now, Emirates GBR, and Dylan, congratulations on a great win there to wrap things up. You carry a lot of momentum into San Francisco, but you come up 1 point short. What was the difference between the 2 days?
Yeah, I think, we had a couple of really good starts. Obviously got the second one completely wrong, but really proud of how the team came out today and came out fighting, and disappointed that the Aussies just snuck it in at the end, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, well, Dylan, it was very, very tight. What can you tell? First day we've seen the T-foils in these light winds. What should we be looking for in this final? What's the thing you've learnt about those T-foils in this light air today?
It's definitely difficult being on these in this steep. I think just like anything, staying clear at the start, getting fast, and really keeping the boat speed high and sailing some fast angles.
Dylan, as you turn your attention now to San Francisco, what can you anticipate? Probably a little bit more wind and some more cold water.
Yeah, I think we're looking forward to it. It's one of my favourite places. Big wind, slightly bigger race course, so hopefully we can bring some our A game on the starts and get back into that final.
Dylan, appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the win in race number 7. So it is Emirates GBR just getting edged out. Dylan Fletcher, the Olympic gold medalist, and his squad will not be participating for the first time in season 5 in the event final. Stevie, let's go back and take a look at the highlights. The win came up in race number 7, but that did not stop Emirates GBR from getting a great start, something they needed, as Dylan said, a couple races earlier.
Yeah, they found that bit of space, and the Australians had space as well up above them, but they had further to sail. You can see just the inside track there came to the British, had to sail a lot further on board Australia and didn't quite accelerate. And well, Emirates Great Britain nailed it. First manoeuvre was great by most of the boats here, really, Hannah, and that was set up the race for the British.
Oh yeah, for sure, and from there they never really looked back, but again, kind of wasn't really the finish that they wanted. They couldn't control what was going on behind them.
So Emirates GBR winners of race number 7. Stevie, they talked about it. They had a couple races in there where they could have picked up a point or two. Race number 6, they finished in 6. Of course, they dropped back in race number 5 and had a win there as well. So just day 2 was good. Day 1 is really what hurt them.
Well, it was, but it was Australia. I mean, they fought hard. They really tussled around the outside here. He kept the crowd involved to the last moment there. And well, they flew across the finish line. It was a really, really tight finish.
So we take a look now at the Emirates fly time, and we've got a new team on board as Germany Deutsche Bank getting here with 89%. So if you're with us earlier, it was 30%, then we bumped up to 58%, and now the Germans show we can get it done with 89% fly time. Congratulations to them. So we've made it down to the event final. It will be Canada, New Zealand, and Australia battling out for the title here in the Port of LA. This is the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. And it's the Australians who come in literally in the last 50 meters of the race as they get around US SailGP to get that 7th position as we now go on board with Tom Slingsby. Tom, I don't know if you've ever been this happy to finish in 7th place, but it's just enough to get yourself into the final.
Yeah, they always say every point counts, and yeah, there's nothing truer than that situation. That was really tough. We didn't sail a great race, but we knew we had to overtake USA there, and fortunately we got it done.
And Tom, you were it's really hard when you're in that big fleet. How much of a change is it going to be now going into a 3-boat final? More space on the course? Is it going to be a lot easier?
It'll be easier for wind-wise, and it'll be easier, less bad air over the racetrack, so you'll be able to get clean lanes and things like that. It'll turn a little bit more boat speed, but as we always see, the start is crucial in the final, and yeah, we've got to make sure we get away well.
Tom, we could wait and get the weather report from another Australian, Lisa Darmanin, but I figure we'll just get it right from you. What are you hearing and what are you seeing out there as far as wind pressure and how much more wind you'll have here in the final?
It does seem to be building a little bit here. Yeah, I think we'll be foiling around the track most of the time. This one, if you fall off, it'll probably be more an error than wind speed. That's what it looks like right now, but it could die between now and the race start.
Tom, appreciate your time. Congratulations on making the final. So it is Australia, New Zealand, and North Star Canada. They are into the final. They will battle it out here. Stevie, Hannah, that was an exciting race.
Yeah, it really was. Really came down to the wire. But often we see those boats that just scrape into the final have a bit of an advantage. They're really hungry for that win. So we'll have to see what happens.
All right, so the 3 teams are set. For everyone else, they will be anticipating next weekend in San Francisco. It will be Canada, it will be New Zealand, and it will be Australia. Who will walk away with the big title here in the City of Angels?
Flying carbon machines driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
So the fans find the best seat in the house. The sun is out. Make sure you apply that sunscreen. Stevie Morrison is a far cry from what we had on practice day. So make a case for each one of these teams to win this thing.
Well, it's quite easy to make a case for all of them. I think New Zealand need it. Australia are fast when they're free, and Giles Scott's been starting brilliantly.
And there it is, the 6-way. You've got New Zealand on the left-hand side, North Star Canada in the center of your screen, and Tom Slingsby and the Australians on the right-hand side. Tell you what, Giles Scott, for my money, Hannah, he has been one of the hottest drivers as of late, but Tom Slingsby finds a way, and then there's the cool customer. You've got, of course, Pete Burling.
Yeah, it's a really tough one to call this one, for sure.
Right now, let's go down on the water. Moments ago, Lisa Darmanin catching up with Canada.
Giles, well done for making another final. It looks pretty tough out here. You got to fight till the very end.
Yeah, it's pretty fevery on board, to be honest. We're 4 up, and there's a lot going on. Well, certainly for the helmsman, got to fly the boat a bit more today, which isn't necessarily my my forte. I'm nowhere near as good at it as Billy is. That's fair to say. But yeah, we've done well. We've snaked through a few tricky spots, and yeah, in another final, and yeah, hopefully we can go one better.
Well, it should be nice on the start line, a little bit more room to play with.
Yeah, a bit more room, should be a bit less gas about. It's going to be fun.
Awesome, well, good luck and enjoy.
Thank you.
Lisa Darmanin moments ago talking with Giles Scott, the driver for North Star Canada, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist in the Finn class, and there are the 3 boats. The 3 protagonists that will take part in the event final here in Los Angeles, North Star Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. Stevie, I'd say North Star Canada is the newest to this group, but Giles Scott is not new to this kind of racing.
No, and they were so close to winning in Sydney, weren't they? They're going to have the bit between their teeth, that's for absolute sure. Same for Slingsby and Burling, you know, had a terrible event in Sydney and disappointing in New Zealand, but I think with this Canadian crew. You know, Annie Hager and Giles seem to have really found their feet in terms of mapping out a course around the racetrack. And Billy Gooder, well, he's renowned for pushing the ride height really aggressively. He was on fire yesterday with it. It would like a little bit more breeze. And I think in these flat waters, it's going to suit Billy.
And then let's talk about New Zealand, Hannah. They have been the class. They are always consistent. They always have so much talent on board.
Yeah, and that combination of Pete and Blair, they've been competing and winning together for so many years. Leo Takahashi a bit newer in that flight controller role this year with this team, but Liv Mackay, again, been there for a long time now, really solid crew.
And of course, Australia rounding out the trio with Tom Slingsby, a 3-time champion in 5 seasons of SailGP. Stevie, he's got all kinds of talent surrounding him as well with Waterhouse, Chris Draper, and Tosh Bryant.
Yeah, I think Draper's been a great addition to the team, and Slingsby now seems to really have it in light air.
So here we go, the final race for the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, the Rolex SailGP Championship. This is event 4, season 5, SailGP. Now just the top 3 teams on points after 7 races have taken place, and it is New Zealand, Australia, and North Star Canada that'll battle it out for the title.
Here we go, we see bottom right-hand corner of the start line, and we see the optimum place to be is on the inside of Mark 1. We heard Chris Draper saying we're almost racing back to the line. They're all quite late. Good news for Canada, can they stay foiling? The Rolex Pro Predictor has just switched to the Australians on the inside, but I think they're going to struggle to get accelerated in the dirty, disturbed wind behind the other boats here. New Zealand are up and foiling, Canada up and foiling. We're waiting for the line to turn white. I love where the Kiwis are. All about timing now. How are we looking, Peter Burling? We are on time on New Zealand. The Black Foils will lead at Mark 1. Australia are late, and Canada have got it all on, but it's going to take some catching Burling and co from here.
Looks okay.
As they approach mark number 1 here at the event final, worst case scenario for North Star Canada, Australia, it is the Black Foils up and foiling and pulling away, pushing almost 70 kilometers an hour.
These manoeuvres are now crucial. We heard it's all about really sticking them in. Tom Slingsby saying we should be sticking the manoeuvres. It'll be a mistake not to. Canada turn early. They look to cut the corner on the New Zealand crew. Who's done the better manoeuvre? Speed-wise, Canada look pretty good. I think they've maybe just hung on enough here, New Zealand. New Zealand look pretty good. Canada are potentially going to have to do 2 here, and it looks like further distance to a right turn. So New Zealand definitely going to minimise distance down here, and they're fast. It's going to be good news for the Kiwis. Maybe a little too aggressive too early from Canada, but they will have a split at gate 2, and we will see who finds more wind after this downwind gate.
So it almost becomes a 2-boat race now, with Australia really getting off the line late. It is the Black Foils, New Zealand opting for the right-hand side there, and North Star Canada going left.
Look like pretty good for a left turn there for pressure. Lisa, what are you seeing on the water? Are you turning left or right?
I still think out of the odds, the right-hand side has been working the most. Canada looks pretty lit up. So it's really coming down to the executing manoeuvres. But where New Zealand is where it's been working best all day.
Right now, the Canadian boat is on the foils. The Kiwis have manoeuvred, fell off the foils, but they're back up and going. As we see from the Oracle Cloud, we got the wind velocity very similar across the course right now. Not a lot in it. It's going to come down to executing good manoeuvres and who's found the best angle. Brilliant tack by the Canadians there. Stayed on the foils. Will be a gain, but it still looks like advantage New Zealand as they have the right of way.
And Australia back in the mix, so they are now sitting currently in 2nd place as they pick that left-hand side and watch the Canadians start to close this gap.
Looked like quite a lot of bias at that bottom gate. Looked like the Kiwis and the Australians sailed a lot less distance to me, Hannah. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, and that left turn's been favoured all day, really. But I think if you're the Canadians and you're in 2nd, you want to go for the win, so you have to split and then see what happens from there.
That's exactly what they did, but now no one able to track down Peter Burling and New Zealand. They came off the line fast, Stevie, and that has been the story really all day today and a little bit of yesterday. Get that start, getting clean air, and you stay away from trouble.
Yeah, I mean, even there's a bit more space now. So we can see as the Kiwis turn here, they've not done a great manoeuvre. They're just making a few little errors every time they turn the boat upwind here. And the Canadians did stay on the foil. See, Canada are still foiling, and this manoeuvre back, Canada will have the right of way. Can they stay foiling? Looks pretty good to me. How's that speed? Yes,
There you
they've
go.
stayed flying, and they have the right of way here, Todd. Massive. Could be a lead change coming here. I like what the Canadians are doing. They're going to turn left. New Zealand are probably going to be forced to either try and dive in front of Canada or dip behind and split away to the right. Big gain by the Canadians, all down to brilliant handling from the crew.
Not that tricky of a cross right there, as Canada with the right-of-way opts for that other side. They split the course again. Australia drops back into third place. So it is Canada on the water with a slight lead over the Black Foils of New Zealand, who got the whole shot. They led at mark number 1.
Definitely got good wind on board the New Zealand boat at the moment. When they meet back up, they're going to meet back up in about 20 or 30 seconds, maybe 30 or 40 seconds actually. New Zealand will have the right of way, but it'll all be who's lined up for this bottom gate, and can the New Zealand boat make Canada have to take avoiding action? I think New Zealand might have fallen off the foils again here, Todd. I think they've missed another manoeuvre, and Canada are making no mistakes. Billy Gooderham and silky smooth. Yeah, New Zealand are off the foils. Another error by the Black Foils, and that's another big gain for the Canadians. This looks pretty good for North Star Canada at the moment.
And Hannah, here's my question. As Canada comes in here, are they going to opt for the left-hand side this time, where Lisa Darmanin was reporting more pressure?
I think if they can make it in, then that would be the smart decision. It has been strong all day, but it's just whether they have to sail low and slow mode together, or if they pick that line just right.
What a turn of events after just one leg, with New Zealand looking like, Stevie, they were going to check out and run away with the victory here. And Giles Scott said not so fast, as he is now pulled into nearly a 200-meter lead.
Isn't it interesting, Todd, in sport, how it all comes down to that error count and unforced errors making this trick. I'm not saying it's easy to manoeuvre in these boats. It's really, really hard. But if you do it well, it's simple gains. They've not really done anything special. They've just done the basics very well. Nice roundup. They're definitely sailing towards a dark patch of water there. Canada are heading towards a fantastic bit of breeze. Expect New Zealand to split away potentially, or they're going to set them. No, New Zealand are saying, look, we're going to have to settle for second here. They want to just make sure they stay ahead of Australia, and it'll be Australia that look for magic on the other side of the course. But Canada right now, wow, North Star Canada looks like Giles Scott could be bringing home his first Canadian win.
Tom Slingsby makes the turn. He splits with the Kiwis, and now it is on. The lead is now down to 150 meters as they make their way up to the top of the course. Then it'll be a right-hand turn into the finish line. There you see this distance. It's under 100 meters now. Do they get the pressure? Does New Zealand get it? We go down on the water quickly. Lisa Darmanin, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Canada's looking pretty solid right now. The New Zealand, they didn't have a good manoeuvre, so I think if you're Canada, you got one more manoeuvre to do, and then this win could be theirs.
So at 52 kilometers an hour, Stevie, they look to be in good pressure as you look at the surface of the water. New Zealand now, all they can do is hope for a mistake.
Yeah, beautiful manoeuvre by the Australians. I don't see a mistake coming. I think the real battle's perhaps for second and third here. Australia have got a couple more manoeuvres to do. New Zealand perhaps just one, but the Aussies will have to, I think, get one more shot at getting back at the Black Foils. But yeah, Canada, it's a masterclass. Let's just see how well they execute this last manoeuvre. Here they go. This is the mover for the money. That was absolutely perfect. Billy Gooderham has got that boat on rails right now. They are nailing it round the course here. Beautiful play. Paul Campbell-James, he calls for a little high mode to try and make it to the finish. They're just coming in straight here. If they can make the right turn with no more manoeuvres, then this will be the first time North Star Canada, with Giles Scott on the wheel, can take a victory.
Stevie, you have to go back to March of 2023. Canada, season 3 in Christchurch, the last time they had an event win. So it is a long time coming, as Giles Scott has now taken the wheel, and he looks very good right now, trying to hold off the Kiwis and the Aussies. And there you see the distance. This is all but a done deal for North Star Canada, as Giles Scott will spin it one more time to the right, and he'll be 250 meters away from glory.
Going to get it done. It's going to be brilliant for Canada, but right now, neck and neck, Slingsby and Burling. This is going to be huge for the championship as a whole. Right of way is with Australia. New Zealand must be confident of crossing ahead.
And as they approach the line, it has been 727 days in the making. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of North Star Canada.
Elbows up for the North Star Canada across the finish line. Wow, what a result by them. Giles Scott bounces back from Sydney disappointment.
The greatest neighbors to the north, as Canada comes to Los Angeles and claims the top prize. The Kiwis will hold on for second, Australia third.
Tom Stingsby's going to be frustrated. He did not nail that start at all. He's going to be annoyed, and the black foil as well. Some pretty clear things to go work on. They're manoeuvring not as good as we're used to seeing. Started very nicely. When they started well, they did well. But there, they just didn't quite have the manoeuvres down. They'll be happy with a second, though. Yep. Championship as a whole, those 3 teams will be good. But that's exactly what Canada needed. They needed an event win. They've got an event win. Huge for their season 5.
Canada was sitting in 6th place overall coming into this event. You tack on 10 more points for the win here, and that will certainly bump them up the ladder. Once again, it's Canada getting the win at event number 4. The Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix goes the way of the Canadians.
Well, the start was, we thought, going to be crucial, and the black foils were absolutely clinical here. They got the Rolex best time start. It was a little bit late, 3 seconds, but that was because they were aggressively attacking the Canadians, and they turned it into a big, big lead at Mark 1. Stretched away, but it was right here, really, Hannah, that I think we saw a split on the course, and then it came down to execution and manoeuvres.
Yeah, absolutely, and the Canadians were really faultless in their manoeuvres, whereas you could see the Kiwis, they dropped off the foil almost in every manoeuvre. And not only does that slow you down, but it also doesn't progress you as far up the ladder lines, and that's just where the Canadians got away.
Yeah, case in point here, they just turning, they look like they're good, but they touch that hole to the left-hand side of the screen in. As soon as you got all that drag in the water, you slow right up. It's marginal errors, but they make a massive difference at this level, and Canada, they just didn't do it. We see Canada about to turn now. Again, absolutely stuck it. Australia could never quite get back in the race after that start.
So a great job by Canada as they hung with it. They stayed with the game plan. They trusted the process. And in the end, North Star Canada picks up a massive victory here in Event 4, Season number 5. They own the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. And we now go down on the water and speak with the winning team, Giles, Scott, and company. Giles, as we quickly look over your report card, you guys have a 3, a 2, a 5, a 6, 2 3s, a 5, but the big one, the 1. Well done as we send it over to Lisa Darmanin.
Giles, congratulations. Second in Sydney. You came back fighting here, 1 going to the final and took that final off the Kiwis. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. No, amazing effort from the team today. I mean, all weekend and all season, really. It's just amazing, you know, we've had a good one in Sydney, and now to come here and to win is awesome for the team. I'm so proud of everyone.
Awesome. Well, everyone's jumping up to join the celebration, so we'll let you go.
Thank you.
And they will now make their way into the prize-giving area. Congratulations once again to Giles, Scott, and Canada. North Star Canada picking up a big 10 points that'll add to their season total. Emirates fly time goes the way of the Canadians with a pump of the arm, 99%. We saw it grow all day long from 30 to 50 to 80. And when it counted most, North Star Canada pulled it off with 99% fly time. What a race, Stevie. Hannah, good conditions. It filled in for us, and in the end, it is Canada that picks up the 10 points.
Yeah, that seemed to mean an awful lot to Giles Scott, didn't he? He was pumping his fist. He was absolutely blowing up, so excited. Burling in New Zealand, well, they're never going to be happy with second, but yeah, that was a spectacular final, really.
Yeah, really happy for the Canadians. Really showed what they can offer on a day like today.
So beautiful look of the Port of LA on a sunny Sunday afternoon. Championship Sunday with Canada getting the win here at the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. Event number 4, we now turn our attention to event number 5, just up the coast next weekend in San Francisco. Stevie, a great time for Canada to celebrate, enjoy it, but it's going to be a quick turnaround.
Quite a different racetrack as well, bigger, normally windier, there's plenty of current there, so there's an awful lot to think about, really. So, yeah, it's a full reset, but I would love to go in with the momentum that North Star Canada must have.
Let's take a look at the Rolex Precision Athletes of the Day across the board. You can't argue with much of that. It's pretty much spot on.
No, for sure. And Pete Burling, they had such a fantastic day yesterday. Didn't quite pull it off in the final, but well-deserved as a driver.
Yeah, and for Mael, a strategist on that battalion boat, well, fighting around in the middle of the pack is always tricky, but managed to minimise the distance. And then Paul Campbell-James, that Canadian boat looked fast, even with the Australians chasing them down pretty hard.
And how about the DP World fastest speed of the day? We had light wind early on. It picked up throughout the day, but we got up to 68.16 kilometers an hour. Didn't think that was possible, but it was the Kiwis that did pull it off. Somehow Peter Burling found a little magic out there on the water and bumped it up to nearly 70 kilometers an hour on a light day. It's amazing what those new T-foils can do. As the winners make their way to the podium, as they will claim the prize and the trophy here for winning the Rolex SailGP Championship here in the City of Angels. The fans will turn out for this. This will be fantastic. And Stevie, they look serious, like been here before.
Seriously happy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's that's an incredible performance. Going to mean an awful lot, having come down across the border from the north, found their way down the coast there. They're going to be so happy. And I think for Giles Scott, he's come in as the skipper of the team this year. A lot of pressure on his shoulders taking over from Phil Robertson. It was a massive call. Phil's a well-established driver, and Giles, he's come in, he's stepped up, he's taken it on. That's massive for the whole crew there. We see Cooper Dressler there, big powerhouse in the front of the ground there, Billy Gooderham. It's, really, really good. Annie Hager, I'm not sure if she's got lost on the way there. I'm trying to find Annie to make sure we're all on board there. But yeah, massive turnout for the team. Oh, we've got a baby on there as well. Annie's little baby, how cute is that? Paul Campbell, James Wingtrim, a big turnout, huge celebration, and yeah, big congratulations. Hopefully they'll enjoy the moment.
And making the presentation is Lauren Delaney, Associate Director of Sponsorship for Rolex, giving the trophy to Giles Scott, North Star Canada. They claim the top prize here at the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix. Mr. Delaney wants to get out of there quickly because as soon as the bubbly starts flowing.
Get exciting on the stage in a minute. I mean, big celebrations and well earned here, and we should start to see this champagne soon coming. Should be a bit of bubbly heading their way with a bit of luck. We want to see that celebration go on for them. And for Canada, it's huge, isn't it? North Star Canada now, they're second in Sydney. They're winning here. They're going to go to San Fran. It could just turn their season around in these few events.
Well, they were in 6th place coming into this event, and this will bump them up at least one more position as Canada will move now into 5th. The top 5. Emirates GBR still leads the way, 34. 32 points for Australia, and New Zealand sitting in 3rd on 29. Then Spain. Canada, of course, moving up one, as did France, Switzerland, Red Bull, Italy, Rockwell, Denmark. Tough day weekend for them. USA sitting in 10th. Mubadala, Brazil, and Germany, Deutsche Bank in 12th. Well, we leave Los Angeles on a high as Canada gets the win. We head up the coast. It's Highway 1, one of the most beautiful drives you'll find anywhere in the world, with the Pacific on the left-hand side, and we pull in to the city by the bay, San Francisco, California, and the Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix. 12 teams, one epic battleground, and it's the most feared of them all, San Francisco. This city is legendary for high winds, brutal tides, and an eerie, unforgiving race course. It's where champions rise and fall. For some, it's all about glory. For others, it's all or nothing. San Francisco Bay, 12 F-50s. Who will conquer the storm? So San Francisco on the horizon as a celebration for Canada gets underway. Hannah Diamond, welcome to the team. Your thoughts? You have sailed in San Francisco before. What can they expect?
Well, it's one of the most epic venues that you can race an F50 in, so everyone will be really excited to get there. For the teams who had a good weekend this weekend, they'll be really happy to build on that momentum, but for those who didn't, they're going to have to turn things around and get racing next weekend better.
The big question, Stevie, I guess, is can Denmark be ready?
Well, let's hope. I mean, it's massive. What a huge weekend. We saw 8 season penalty points for the Danish. Massive problems for them. So, yeah, fingers crossed. There's a lot of work for the SailGP tech team to do. That goes without saying. But for Canada, just love seeing that momentum they've got.
No question about it. The fans turned out in force on a picture-perfect day here. Once again, the winners of the Rolex Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, North Star Canada. On behalf of Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darmanin, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from Los Angeles, California. We'll see you next weekend in San Francisco. Great stuff. The Emirates GBR claims race number 5. The Aussies are on their way to Hallelujah Land. As Emirates GBR desperately needed a whole shot, and they get it. Just enough.
Canada are making no mistakes.
The Emirates winning moment goes the way of North Star Canada.
Well done, everyone.